What is going on, everyone? Who's ready to talk about a place we've never talked about before? I know I am. That town is in the bluegrass state, and it is Louisville, Kentucky. It's right here, in case you don't know. It is home to 750,000 people, the Kentucky Derby, and the Louisville Slugger. The entire metro area has closer to 1.3 million residents, and it was founded in 1778. This was also the birthplace and childhood home of Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr., who of course later changed his name to Muhammad Ali. It is also home to a guy who stuck me in the forearm with a bayonet while I was in the army. Yes, really. I jokingly asked this guy if they call it KY jelly because it's used so often in the Kentucky backwoods. He said, "No, you stupid ass," which is something he called everyone, so I wasn't getting any special treatment at this point. My mistake was asking him a follow-up question, which was, well, which do you prefer when you're in the Kentucky backwoods with the fellas? 45 minutes later, I had 7 stitches in my forearm. Louisville is not a bad city. It has great history and great people, at least when they're not holding sharp objects. But like all cities, it has its issues and really isn't for everyone. This video is about things you should know before you decide to move to the Derby City. So why don't you grab a Mint Jubilee and watch my top 10 reasons not to move to Louisville, Kentucky. Number 10, few things to do. Although the city offers many entertainment activities like the Kentucky Kingdom, it's a water park, a zoo, they got some bars for adults. Many people when moving to Louisville complain that the residents here only invite them to do things like go shooting, go to church, or drink some cheap beer and sit in their pickup truck pool they made. Which, I mean, totally makes sense. Why else would anyone buy an F-450 if you ain't gonna make a pool out of it, right? If the truck swimming pool ain't your thing, you could always hit the Louisville Mega Cavern, where you could explore the history of geology and mining and building technologies of Louisville. It is also home to the world's only underground zipline course. Which, okay, that part's kind of cool, but very few people really want to spend their day learning about geology and mining. I mean, if you're a geology nerd, maybe. Number 9, car insurance. If you decide to move to Louisville, you'll probably notice that your car insurance rates skyrocket. This is because Kentucky has some stricter laws when it comes to car insurance. The average resident will spend a little over $2,000 in car insurance alone every single year. Many complain that these laws are so strict that the bare minimum insurance here costs them about $260 a month. Lots of factors can play into those numbers, but that's just a reference. What I find weird about this one is I've heard it about 3 or 4 times from people talking to me. I've even had a bunch of comments on my videos by locals that want to bring this up. Really, how often do you talk to a stranger about insurance rates in the city? Never, I'm sure, is the answer for 99% of you. So that kind of tells you how bad it is if people keep bringing it up all the time. I mean, honestly, car insurance? Number 8, pronunciation. This one is really a big deal among residents and may get a little heated if ever discussed. Some people pronounce it Louisville, like Lou, L-O-U-A-V-U-L, Louisville. Others pronounce it Louisville, like Lou, L-O-U-E-E-V-I-L-L-E, Louisville. However, locals claim that it's properly pronounced Louisville. And I'm sure some of them are going to have a hard time with the way I pronounce it, but still, it's most definitely never going to be Louisville. Don't ever say that to anyone there. They'll probably just roll their eyes and walk away from you. And it may even get you run out of town if you're talking to the wrong person. Now, it may even sound like I switch back and forth in this video. And I promise you that we will have a bunch of comments about this one in the comment section below. Everyone seems to think they have the right answer of how it's properly pronounced. And it's always different from the last person that said they know how it's supposed to be pronounced. It's a strange one. No other place I've ever been to where this is actually so much of a thing. I mean, here in Portland, we have the Willamette River, and we know you're not a local by the way you pronounce it. I've actually heard people call it the Wilhelmina River. I don't know how you get Wilhelmina out of that one. Number 7, allergies. Stock up on allergy medication before you get here. Be prepared, people. Many people complain about experiencing new or worse allergy symptoms after moving to Louisville. Some residents say it's so bad that the over-the-counter allergy medicine doesn't work for them anymore. They have to go to the doctor and get a shot. Allergies are the absolute worst. If you don't suffer from allergies, you might hear. For those of you who don't get them, it's like being uncomfortable for a week or 2 months or somewhere in between. Growing up in Southern California, I never had them. I moved to Oregon, and in the spring, I normally walk around looking like someone who's been, using his face to smash onions. See your doctor for allergy testing if it's really, really bad, and that also helps eliminate it could be another cause. If you want to go the natural route, try local grown honey. I've actually tried that a couple times. Seemed to make things better. I didn't fix it completely, but if you're into the natural stuff, that's the best way to go. Number 6, hidden tolls. Some roads have hidden tolls. You'll have to be aware of these beforehand so you don't get shafted by the man. When you're new to Louisville, you may not even notice that they have signs telling you you're about to enter a toll road while you're trying to get through Spaghetti Junction. Fortunately, you can sign up with a toll company to be billed automatically, so you don't have to go through the confusion and stress of receiving an unexpected toll bill in the mail that's going to be much more expensive than just paying the frickin' toll. Now, a lot of states and a lot of areas of this country don't have toll roads, don't have toll bridges. I know they have them in New York and New Jersey and stuff like that, but in Southern California, I think we had that one that went out into the desert, a commuter thing, but it was a lane. But I remember only having the Vincent Thomas Bridge in Long Beach, and they had a toll booth there. And then I read some years back that they were getting rid of it because they did a study and found out that they hadn't raised the toll in so long that they were only making enough to pay for the people that worked in the toll booth. Like, that was all they were collecting was enough to pay these people, and they were going to eliminate it. And then there's this big outcry that some dude there was like 2 or 3 years from retirement, and that was like the only job he ever had, and now they were going to eliminate his job. What was he going to do? He's going to get another job like most people do when they get it. But anyway, it turned into this big public outcry, and they were trying to save this guy's job, and they eventually just got rid of the toll booth. I don't know what they did with the dude. But yeah, most of the country doesn't have these toll things, so just be prepared if you move to Louisville. Number 5, a red state. Louisville is like a small speck of blue within a very red state. Nearly everywhere else you go in Kentucky, the political demographics will be more likely leaning right. Louisville is the most left city in the state. This is a perfect breeding ground for a lot of disagreements and Facebook unfriendings, especially during election season. This is how a few other states are. Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington come to mind here. They are very much left-leaning cities in states that would be probably right-leaning and voting completely if it wasn't for those 2 major cities and a few other spots in the states. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with either or any political affiliation. We're all in this together. It's just something you should know if it's something you care about. What sucks is politics have become so toxic on both sides, it's crazy. The fact is, each party needs the other party, and they need them to have differing views, or the whole democracy thing collapses. Like I said, we're all in this together. But if that stuff does matter to you and where you're living and how people vote, just keep that one in mind about Louisville. Number 4, natural disasters. Louisville gets hit with many kinds of natural disasters. They experience tornadoes occasionally, earthquakes rarely, and flooding. Since the Ohio River runs straight through the city, Louisville is the biggest city in the state at risk for flooding. The Ohio River occasionally does rise and cause flooding. One historical flood in 1937, which was called the Great Flood, was pretty bad. The flood occurred in January of that year, lasting nearly a month. At one point, 70% of the city was underwater. And keep in mind, this is before plastic kayaks and GoPros, so it really wasn't any fun for anyone. Number 3, low wages. Living someplace with a low cost of living like Louisville will usually come with a downside, and that's low wages. The income per capita is about $27,000. That's about 7% lower than the national average. Be prepared to take a pay cut if you move to Louisville in almost any position. This in part is why the poverty level in Louisville is about 17% higher than the national average. You'd think you would have a better wage outlook considering how many major corporations they have in Louisville. KFC and its parent company Yum Brand are based there. Humana, Louisville Slugger, and the main airport is home to the UPS Worldwide Hub. That's just to name a few. They've got a lot of other ones. I used to love KFC though. Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe they're not paying people well because they kind of suck now. The 2 KFCs near my home have run out of chicken on 3 different occasions that I've gone there. And let's say the last 4 years at least, 4, maybe 5 years. How does a chicken restaurant run out of chicken? Are they hiring people that can't count or something? Number 2, bugs. Louisville has some crazy bugs here. Well, kind of course. They're a southern city. Mosquitoes are a major nuisance in southern cities. Louisville's no different. However, that's not as bad as a couple other things they have. The cicada killer wasp, for example. These are wasps that thankfully only go after cicadas. But if you pose a threat to them, they won't hesitate to light you up. Another terrifying bug is the Hercules Beetle. These things are huge. Matter of fact, they're the largest flying insect in the United States. Despite being this large, up to 7 inches by the way, they can actually fly. And they are terrifying to people that have never seen one before. And trust me, you don't want to be in the woods around Louisville and see a cicada killer wasp, a Hercules beetle, or a guy with no teeth and a tube of KY jelly coming at you. And number 1, Kentucky drivers. Drivers here aren't the best. If you're a driver in the Bluegrass State, here's some bad news. You're some of the worst drivers in the nation. According to a new Smart Asset survey, Kentucky drivers are ranked 11th, and Louisville is the worst in Kentucky. For Louisville drivers, there are 5.88 DUI arrests per 1,000 drivers, and an average of 1.69 fatalities per every 100 million miles traveled. Those aren't good numbers. And this is probably why car insurance is so high in Louisville. 3 things you need while driving in Louisville: good car insurance, a number to a good lawyer, and a good credit score, because after you hit a tree, you'll need a new car. Alright, so that's my top 10 reasons not to move to Louisville, Kentucky. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you got some information out of it. Don't forget all the links below. Give this a big thumbs up, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.